In times of crisis, we can rely only upon each other. While our current roster is impressive, it never hurts to have a few more heroes in our retinue. We must bolster our ranks with a mighty sword arm anchored by holy purpose. And so, it is up to us to seek out the last of the Crusaders. The Great Crusade has claimed many brave men and birthed but a few heroes. Among these were the 100 Crusaders, now shrouded in legend due to their heroic and terrible exploits. They can still inspire the much-needed courage of the ordinary folk. In the eye of mortal combat, they had hoped to find the divine peace, but few returned from its blissful embrace. The Crusaders were once the defenders of faith. For the light, they would travel into distant lands, banish our enemies, and bring back the spoils of war to share with the common folk. The war has forged them, and the war has broken them. Understood to have all perished in the conflicts, a single lost helmet is all that remains of their legacy. For now. They are remembered still, and the memories of their conquest have endured, but so did their vengeful enemies. Whether by the difference of creed, or for more personal reasons, fate has pitted them against us, and so we must fight. Venture forth, find the scattered vestiges of a faceless army, besieging these dying lands, and reclaim from them the banner that once flew proudly in a Crusader's hand. The invaders are easy enough to identify, having nested themselves on the road taken by escapees, awaiting prey, reduced to banditry. They have been stranded in a world collapsed. Chance is a fickle thing. Had the invasion been postponed, had the conflict been avoided, perhaps they too would have opposed the cult. Unlikely as it would be, for our kingdom has had conflict with them before, but strange times make for strange alliances. These things matter not, for fate has been decided, and we must rise to arms. The prolonged struggle is as desperate as the war itself, desperate to hold their positions, as pitiful as they are. They remain coordinated. From behind their barricades, the swordsmen and spearmen will gnash and jab with their weapons. Armed with stockpiles of weaponry that provide multiple bonuses to their damage and defense, they attempt to bleed us out while we attempt to drive them out from behind their calamitous shelter. The spikes on the barricades pierce metal, leather, and skin as they clamor with anger, trying to break our spirits, tossing spears from behind cover. And yet, after the last soldier has fallen, it is their fortifications that will break and burn, and so too do the invading forces. The banner has been returned to proper hands, worthy of its glory. The army of our kingdom once stood proudly, ready to defend it, whether from the wildlanders, neighboring kingdoms, or pillaging brigands. But many have forgotten. Having reclaimed the tattered banner, we will need to use it to remind them. The Lost Battalion, the mightiest of our armed forces, are now blindly roaming the woods in their stupefied forgetfulness. Whether the simplest private obeying a general's orders, or in this case, the most venerable bishop, we all have a part to play. We must remind the bishop of his oath to the faith. Once we do, he will be reinvigorated with the strength of his vows and must be defeated quickly. With his last shred of humanity, the bishop has bestowed upon us a sacred artifact too important to forsake, even in his deathless slumber. A reliquary. Each of the 100 Crusaders were entrusted with a specific reliquary, inscribed with sacred text. These contained essential icons and artifacts of faith. The lock is rusted tight. It is imperative that we find a way to open it. Perhaps the Wainwright would be eager to ply his trade. With sturdy tools and a little elbow grease, the lock will be removed and the reliquary opened. Inside is perhaps one of the most important treasures of all, the Crusaders' Creed, an inspiration to the downtrodden and destitute. Hope has never been scarcer and more precious. Spread the word amongst the peasantry, desperate and fleeting. Their defenders endure, their heroes return, and their world will survive. The word of the light will call forth to the faithful. The desperate few have provided us with a token of faith, for they believe we will succeed. A roughly drawn map revealing long-lost caches of wealth pillaged in wartime. The Crusaders fulfilled their duty. Bestowing these upon the poor in this time of need would have sufficed, but wealth is worthless without purpose, and our purpose transcends it. The mad merchant running the elusive emporium beat us to the blade, but the scoundrel was more than happy to exchange it for the rumor of riches. The blade was once sharp and shone brightly on the battlefield, and though it has long since lost its luster, taking it to the inn and having it restored will reveal more than just its masterful craftsmanship. The glittering sword is a beacon, guiding us once more into the horizon's unmerciful haze, for the fog of war is thick in the air. The Crusader's past has caught up to him, and we must face his failures. It was by his blade that many have met their maker, but not this one. Not that day. The enemy camp rang with terrified recognition, for they knew his frightful reputation, and ahead of him, a titan of rusty metal, of mutilation, of mortality, the champions of their respective nations. Their blades clashed, the snow turned crimson, and among the bodies of their men, the Warlord made a final stand. Though it would not be his final battle. At the moment of execution, the Crusader halted and spared his rival. This one would live on in humiliation, he thought, a mockery of the mercy his enemies knew he did not possess. The defeated Colossus returned to exact his revenge on his hated enemy. The war is lost, yet the Warlord fights on. He has repaid his rival's mercy in kind, trapping him in a cage, locked away from the world, forced to witness its destruction and unable to do anything. This vendetta has to come to an end. Displaced, but not disarmed, the faceless army awaits us once more. The juggernaut commands his men, and they have no choice but to listen, driven by loyalty or the desperation to survive. His axe demands a tribute, and his soul demands suffering. His blade threatens to cleave an unwavering hero in half. In combat, the Warlord will appear in the front ranks, leading the charge with his men. He can move with Sakare, using his axe to cut into pieces while rushing forwards. And with Kalafos, he will deliver a devastating backhand, dazing our heroes and allowing him to retreat into the back ranks. With Presido, he will cut through or attempt to cut off the limbs of his victims, inflicting bleed. He uses the skulls on his waist for intimidating both enemies and allies. With Paro, he will prepare his defenses while applying a debuff to our heroes. And with Kortor, he will exhort his allies, encouraging them to attack faster and with more force. His final move is Ferox Impetus, a fierce assault onto all marked targets. His powerful strikes would be enough to end the lives of lesser men, but we are not lesser men. We are empowered by the flame to fight beyond our limits, and once more drive this hateful villain back. There is a chance that we will encounter him again on the roads, and defeating him there will grant us powerful trinkets from his arsenal. But for now, we gain the greatest gift of all, an ally. Rescuing the knight from the cage, a mighty sword arm anchored at first by holy purpose and then by humility and compassion. Metal and man, the last of his kind, reunited with old allies, he will finally find his redemption. This quest of rescue and redemption has been a harrowing one, full of curiosity, interest, and obsession. It reminds me of another story. A horrifying descent into madness that pales in comparison to the tragedy that followed. But that, and I've waited a long time to say this one, is a story for another day.